Welcome, everybody, back to the world's most bugged podcast in the world. My name is Rye. I'm joined with Jay today on this lovely, lovely Sunday. How you doing today, man?
I'm pretty standard, I'd say, considering all the bugs in this podcast.
There's a lot of bugs in this podcast. I can't even tell if the audio is working properly, but you know what? We're just going to go with it. You can find us on YouTube now, folks and friends. You can find us on the YouTubes and also on all major streaming platforms. That's, I guess, what people say in the beginning of these videos.
Yeah, I guess we should say it in the beginning. I don't think many people listen all the way through, so it'd probably make more sense.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on having a drink, but after this beginning, I just cracked this open.
The bugs made you drink.
The bugs made me drink. They made me do it. They made me say F it. You know, the one thing I did want to bring up, I wanted to see if, let me see if I can get this music out of here.
What I was going to say is if our YouTube logo is a T.
Is that something else I need to change?
It's our profile or whatever, thumbnail. So if you're searching theme park junkies, our as of now, our logo is a T.
I will have to change.
There's another theme park junkies channel out there.
Is there?
Looks pretty dormant.
They're much better than us, I'm sure.
Better than us.
I probably should subscribe to them and unsubscribe to ours. So, one thing I wanted to bring up, are you going to, you can't see my screen. Okay, but are you going to Cocktails and Comics and Cocktails with me on Saturday, June 17th? Are you able to?
I don't know. If I do, it's going to be a very short trip because Father's Day celebration to go to.
Well, I'm plugging it on the show, so maybe... I think that these things are important, to support when they happen in our little communities. So come on, everyone. Saturday, June 17th, 1 to 8 p.m. I will be there from 1 to 2. That's it.
Hopefully you're showing that ad because the ad looked pretty hilarious.
I am. It's an old Iron Man having looks like a margarita. Drinking a margarita.
I wasn't sure who the character was, but I would say that's some good marketing.
Yeah, so
came up with that.
If you see us, say hello. If you don't, well, we're not going to be there long. Jay might only be there for 5 minutes. So, yeah.
So, you're planning on going for sure?
I'm going for sure. I got nothing to do that Saturday. My dad doesn't want to see me, so.
I've never been to that. What's the store?
So this is the first annual, and this is in Canoga Park. And I believe it's at the place that's putting it on is We Can Be Heroes, that store right next to your little home that you have.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a different location of that same one.
Yeah. So you'd probably have to Uber over. It's in Canoga Park, though. It's not far. It's at the Elks Lodge. What is that? Who knows?
Like a country club or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but that's where it is at for sure. And so let's get into some news. Unless, what'd you do this weekend? Anything? Because I don't really.
No, not really. Nothing of note. Yeah. I was lazy this weekend.
I saw my folks. They came into town. That's always an adventure. It's always an adventure. But
they came into town. Did they stay with you?
No, that would never be allowed. They stayed next door to me down the street. Yeah, they get a little hotel down here. My parents don't want to stay with me. I don't know what it is. That's interesting. I've asked. We have an extra room. I'm like, you want to stay here? Nope. Do you really want to know why I think? This is honestly why.
It's kind of gross. By you.
It's kind of gross. Never mind. I don't want to. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Let's just get into the news. And you know what? I have a new news transition that I made. So let's just do that.
The whole audience right now is pissed at you.
Just think of something gross,
and they're never gonna know. All right, whatever. Use your imagination, folks.
Use your imagination, folks. So
I have some news.
When you're watching this back, though, you'll see that new graphic that was made, and you'll be like, wow, amazing.
You made a new graphic?
I did, just for the news.
Oh, great.
That's all I do at home is make graphics for this show. Anyway, so what do you have for the news? Because I need some information on what's going on in the theme park world today.
Well, let's call this an alert.
Oh.
Newsflash, an alert. Yes. This is a new brewery alert. And let me just tell you, I think I may have found a replacement for our Trader Sam's annual trip that we do after typically not Scary Farm. This is a brand new brewing company. And let me just say, this was sent to me. I'll give her a proper credit by Assistant Chris. Assistant Chris, who works for us, but gets paid nothing.
Yes.
And so she sent this to me, and this place looks pretty cool. Villains Brewing Company. Have you heard of this?
I got to tell you, I think she's kind of working both sides here because she contacted me as well.
Okay.
On the Instagram saying, you know what? I mean, this sounds like a trip I think we all need to make.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so then you are aware of this place.
I didn't look it up too much, though. Just I know it's near Disneyland, correct?
Right. So it's supposed to be a 5-minute drive from Disneyland. And I don't know if you've looked at the Instagram. I'm looking at their Instagram right now. I think it just opened a couple days ago on the 9th, I believe. And from what I'm seeing, it's probably one of the coolest themed breweries I've ever seen. I wish we would have stole this idea. But I'm looking at the Instagram, Villains Brewing Company. The Instagram is Villains Brewing Co. And it is basically a horror themed brewery. And it looks like they have some delicious foods as well. Some burgers and barbecue and all kinds of stuff. Pizza, even, it says. And so basically, there's little, nods to horror films all over this brewing company. They have like a mural painted on the wall of Leatherface and Freddy and Chucky and Jason and even down to the beer taps. I'll send you one right now. Like all the beer taps have like villains' heads. Like there's a Darth Vader one, and I thought it was pretty funny. They even have a Donald Trump head on one of the brew or one of the taps. So anyway, this place looks pretty cool. I would say definitely if you're in Anaheim and into things like this, check it out. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think something like this would be a better trip than Trader Sam's?
Yeah.
Typical thing. It seems like we've been wanting to switch that up.
I hate to say it, I'm over Trader Sam's.
I kind of am too.
Been a lot of times. And I'm only saying that because I've been more than these fingers can count. Like that's how many times I've been to Trader Sam's.
Sure.
So it's time to do something new, I think.
I'm going to give a strong criticism to them. I love that place for a lot of ways, but I hate the food there. I don't think there's one item on that menu. Granted, I'm a very picky eater, but I don't think there's one item I like on that menu since they changed it.
Right.
And I'm always kind of, that next morning after Knott's is usually a time when you needed a decent meal from the night before drinking, most likely. So, I don't know. Looks pretty cool. It just opened. We'll see how they do. I'd say check out the Instagram if you want more info on them. But it looks like it's very detailed. I appreciate the attention to detail that they're showing. Very cool, very cool. So we'll see. We love a good brewery.
I wouldn't mind just doing a trip out for this, to be honest.
Yeah, or just its own trip.
Because we don't have much to do in life. We might as well take a train and just go drink.
Could do the train, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a perfect little thing. So maybe the correspondent would want to come with us. I could see if my sweetheart would come with us, but it's doubtful.
The correspondent, yeah. Very, very. That could be a very good trip. And then we'll get back to you on a review of the place in person.
Please do. Please do.
So let's see. What else do I have? Do you know what today is? Today is a holiday.
It is Sunday.
No.
Sunday the holiday.
No, it's not. Today is Thursday.
Oh.
No, it is Sunday, but it's also a national holiday. Now, let me just ask you, what doesn't have a day nowadays?
I don't know if pugs have a day. Do pugs have a day?
They
National Pug
do.
Day?
Everyone loves pugs. They have to have a day.
But do they have a day?
Let's see if they do. Let's look it up.
National Pug Day. Well, oh my gosh.
October 15th.
Yeah. Okay, so they do have a day.
Yeah. So, which proves my point. Everything has a day, and today is National Corn on the Cob Day.
Wow.
June 11th.
Really?
I enjoy corn on the cob.
Do you know what I'm having tonight, by the way?
I hope it's corn.
Asparagus and some corn on the cob. That's what I bought.
Just cut to the chase. Just do corn only.
Yeah, maybe I should.
At dinner. That next morning would be interesting. But
do you know why I love asparagus? Makes your pee smell.
It does.
And I don't know why. I think it's like, especially after you've been drinking and then you go pee later and you're like, whoa, I had asparagus earlier.
That's a stinky situation.
That's a stinky situation. Anyway, sorry about that. Let me get off that. That's
that's okay. But and then just to tie into theme parks, what Knott's is doing today is they're celebrating National Corn on the Cob Day. You can see on their Instagram they're showing some elotes, which is corn. Basically, it's like the Mexican street corn.
Ah, yummy.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's like corn. Rolled in butter and mayonnaise and sprinkled and cheese sprinkled on it.
Yeah.
And a little lime. So yeah, there's some elotes. I think I'm saying that right. While we were
Probably
rehearsing,
not.
I looked up how to pronounce it, and that's, I believe, what it guided me to say. But anyway, it looks pretty delicious, and they're celebrating this in Fiesta Village. Treat your taste buds to a variety of different elotes with our summer tasting card for a limited time.
I don't know why.
Corn-tastic celebration.
If you're saying that correctly, I'll be surprised.
I think I am, because I wanted to say, the way it's written, I wanted to say elotes.
Elotes. Yeah, that doesn't sound right either.
That's the gringo way to say it. But yeah. So, I don't know. I looked up, we were both watching a lot of tutorials before the...
Yeah, so you were watching apparently different ones, though, than I was.
Learning other languages.
Did you know, just speaking of national days, and thank you for the corn day. I do like corn days. National Poop Day. Do you know when that is? It's an actual day. I just had to look that up. It's the day after the Super Bowl. It takes annually after, because a lot of those guys who just sit on the couch watching Super Bowls
and you're pooing like crazy the next day.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay. So corny, but it is Corn Day.
It is Corn Day.
There is that important news. And my final thing, this isn't necessarily theme park related, but I don't care. I will bring it up anyway. You're familiar with the Puente Hills Mall?
Yeah,
City
I've heard of
Industry.
Yep.
The most famously known as the filming location for the 85 classic Back to the Future.
I haven't heard of that.
I remember going to this in 2015, I believe it was. They were doing like a multiple month-long celebration where they had the Twin Pines Mall sign set up where it was in the movie, and the Doc's van was parked out in its spot that it was parked in the movie for like months. And so they still have the sign. The sign is in the mall. The sign looks like it has better days. Last I saw,
kids
like missing a letter and stuff, but they still do have that. Anyway, the mall has seen better days. It's an old mall at this point, and a lot of people have been documenting it recently. I can't really find any concrete evidence as to what's going to happen, but initially there was rumors that it was being demolished.
The sign or the mall? The mall?
The whole mall. Now I'm hearing it's just going to be a remodel.
Yeah.
So how much of the original, mall? I mean, right now it's pretty identical to what it looked like in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You can still see, all the stores are there. Of course, they're changed. Like what was a JCPenney is now like a 24-hour fitness or something. But anyway, it's definitely going to go through some changes, and it's basically on the chopping block. I think it will be unrecognizable from what it once was, definitely. So if you're interested in checking out the filming location for Back to the Future, go now. I guess I was looking at a little bit of the history of it, and it's the grand opening was in 1975. So wow. I guess it is in need of a remodel. But kind of sad, I don't know. That's what I started to say. I've been watching a lot of people are getting footage of it, and it's really like one of these dead malls at this point. Like there's no stores open in it. It's kind of sad when you see things deteriorate like that. Like I would say 3/4 of the stores have moved out. There's some life in it, a couple little things still operating, but you can tell its days are numbered. So we will see what happens. But the Twin Pines Mall, or the Lone Pine Mall, the actual filming location, I have a feeling it's going to be unrecognizable very, very soon.
All of our days are numbered, really, but
it is sad about it. Everything just disappears, right, from our childhood.
Yeah. Oh gosh, isn't that the truth? So is that all you got today?
That's it for the
news.
You
came with the thunder. I liked it. Okay, so I got two things. That I want to talk to you about. One is a follow-up, and I found out, this almost deserves a little drum roll, but I don't have it queued up. Where's my drum? There we go. So I found out why, if what I'm reading is correct, why Santa Claus Mountain was closed down.
Why?
I found out. So something
called religious group got mad?
No, it's more the government. So OSHA is a Congress created OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration Act. That's what closed down Santa Claus Mountain, saying that it was unsafe for workers and human beings to be in there.
Okay. Well, didn't I pretty much guessed that at one point.
Yeah.
I remember bringing that up.
So it's kind of sad to think about that. I get it. Maybe it was horrible to work in it. Someone had to have complained, right?
Well, that did kind of occur to me because if you think about it, it can't be. The places that they had the scare actors hiding were not designed for like places, workers, places for humans to stand.
Right.
They were on like little, if you remember, they were like on the sides of the flume, track and the railing. It's almost like they were standing on, it looked like very unsafe conditions. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
So that's
interesting.
Kind of, So apparently that's why they really scaled it back. And it's always kind of sucked since then, to be honest, that there haven't been actors on there.
Right.
It's still fun.
It was really, the scares were definitely heightened when they had those scare actors jumping out at you.
Yeah. So since you can't see my screen, I'm going to send you something that I want you to look at as I talk about this, because this is amazing. We're too poor and too stuck up to attend this. But so there is an Airbnb that we could stay at called the Haunted Mansion Inspired Ghostly Retreat. Okay? It is only $678 a night. Maybe I should share this screen real quick so people can see it as well. So it's about $600 a night though to stay in. That I don't love.
Wow.
But it does sleep 8 people, so you could really go in with a bunch of people and kind of and do whatever you want to do. So they have a seance room. Look at these pictures. They really did a wonderful job with this.
This is someone's home.
They redesigned it as an Airbnb, basically a hotel stay, and there you go. Has anyone stayed in this? If you have, please let us know, and you can come on the show and we'll talk about it. I would like to know if it's as cool as it looks. The outside is kind of interesting. It looks just like a home. You know what I mean? Looks like some home that someone kind of redesigned. It's got a hot tub and stuff. I don't know if the Haunted Mansion had a hot tub. It has a little putt golf thing in the back. And
wow, this is great.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job.
Fantastic job, didn't they?
So how does one find this? I guess you're sharing the screen, but you just Google.
Just Google it in. And so let's see. He's a super host, Jeffrey. He's the guy who does it. 8 guests, 4 bedrooms. So I don't know if that's really 8 guests if you're solo. 5 beds. Oh, there's 5 beds. Weird. And 2 bathrooms. So that's what you get for about $700 a night.
This would be the closest you could ever come to actually staying in the Haunted Mansion, I would say.
Yeah.
Overnight. They did do some slight nods to the outside of the house. You see that like kind of wrought iron railing. That's in the it looks like they did the pet cemetery in the front. Man, that would be like my dream house.
Well,
I wouldn't rent it out though. I just want to live there.
It could be just your dream vacation if you wanted. You know?
So I wonder, I see they have the stretching room. I assume it doesn't stretch.
Now, if you notice, if you read it, it says from September 23rd to January 8th, the ghostly retreat will transform into a nightmare holiday. So it'll be a Christmas, like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff.
Oh, so they do that too.
Just like they do at the parks.
Right. Wow. I'm surprised I've never heard of this. This is pretty incredible.
It is incredible.
Great job, Jeffrey.
$5,000 fine if you throw a party. No exceptions.
Really?
Yeah. I guess a party's worth 5,000.
Throwing a party.
I don't know, more than the 8, I guess.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you could call 8 people a party, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Do you see? I saw it. It's like in like some weird Fullerton or something. I'm not seeing where it's located right now. Are you?
It just says
Fullerton. Yeah, Fullerton, California.
I don't see an address, but wow,
pretty amazing.
Yeah. They have a kitchen, Wi-Fi, dedicated workspace, free parking, security cameras.
See, if we were larger, we could contact this guy and just ask for like a kind of a tour, and then we could post it and give him some love. But
you could promote it.
Nobody has liked or subscribed to this, so we can't do any of that.
They have a microwave if you want to bring your TV dinners.
I think you can even bring a dog if you want. I think there's a little extra fee. So
wow.
Harleen could definitely enjoy the stay,
and hopefully they don't end up in the pet cemetery out front.
That is
beautiful. I wonder if is that in cahoots with Disney, or is that any?
I don't think so. I think this is just a super fan who's like, I want to share the love of my love.
Could that be like a trademark issue or something like that? Like he is making money off of I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to wonder. I guess it's just a theme. Airbnbs and Vrbo, I think, VRBO, whatever it is, they have a lot of themed locations you can stay at, which I find it could be fun, but it may be kind of weird, especially if you don't have kids. It's like, I don't know.
I've never stayed at an Airbnb, I don't believe.
I have, yes, and it was the most disappointing experience I've ever had. We stayed at one in Mammoth Lakes, and the place in the pictures looked nice. We got there and it was just filthy. Like there was layers of dust. It was like, what's going on? No one cleaned this before we got here kind of feeling. And
that's no good.
Yeah, and we almost left and tried to get a hotel, but everything was booked up there. So we were like, well, we're stuck here.
Wow. I know they were very popular for a period of time, and nowadays not so much. I don't get so air, bread, all right, bed and bed and breakfast, right, is the B&B. What's the air? Is that just air conditioning?
I think maybe it just stands for traveling. I don't know, but I have no idea. Maybe you have to fly somewhere to use their Airbnbs.
Part of the equation.
So I got one last thing. Did you see the Not 666 thing? What the reveal was? So dumb.
No. No. What? Give us the news.
It's the 2023 Not Scary Farm season pass.
I did see they revealed the season pass.
That's what it was.
What was the 666? What does the 666 have to do with that?
That's what I don't get. That's what I wish that, if I was in charge, I think I would have themed it a little different to announce this pass,
Yeah.
But so everyone was demanding this. If you look at the message boards and whatever, and then you go onto the website and it's still available for sale. So I'm wondering how many of these actually sold, or maybe they just upped the ante of how many are available. It says limited quantities. It is such a good deal. It is $150. That's it.
I'm looking at that right now. Yeah. Wow. But that's not front of the line or anything like that.
No, but I'm sure that you can just purchase that front of the line anytime you want to go. So $150 is not bad, or 160. I think it's 150 if you have a season pass, 150 if you have the season pass, 160 if you don't. It's $10 more. But still,
I don't think I would want the Scary Farm pass.
I would. I'd go twice. I would.
I don't know. I think once is fine for me.
But remember where you live. What if you lived there? What if you lived in Buena Park?
Yeah, maybe. But what I was going to say is there's so many different haunts to do. And it's like, if you're working full, I guess if I didn't work or anything, if I had like every day to just go to theme parks, then maybe.
True.
But there's so many to do. I think I would just rather do something else rather than go to Knott's more than once.
Yeah.
You have that, especially Knott's. It isn't even 2 months like most of the other parks nowadays. You got a month and a half or so.
Right. It actually starts later than all of them. A few weeks later than all of them, I believe.
But that is you're right. That's a great deal.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal. All right. Should we get into we have a jam-packed episode. I don't want to go 3 hours. No one will watch past 45 minutes anyways.
Just one.
So let's get into our wonderful, wonderful segment.
when we have a segment, it's going to be wonderful.
This is going to be interesting because I'm going to try and do some overlays of everything, but this may turn into madness. We'll see what happens. I think it'll be easiest if you go first. So if we have duplicates, I don't have to do another overlay and we can just talk about it. So why don't you introduce us? This was your idea. This is a great idea, by the way. Everyone was excited about it, and everyone was clapping when they heard that this idea was coming.
I know. They've been beating down my door with excitement. So I had an idea. Let's do and I'm going to call this our favorite, not necessarily the top, meaning the best of all time in a broad sense. These are our favorite top 5 animatronics used in a theme park. They could be used in a queue. They could be part of an attraction, whatever you want. Just your top 5, your own personal top 5 favorites. So I did a top 5 countdown, and I also got some honorable mentions because this was really hard. There's so many. This is
hard.
That's why I just limited it to my personal taste, my own favorites. So do you want to we'll go from 5 to 1?
Yeah, give me your number 5. Yep, you go ahead. Give me that 5.
So to start it off, my number 5... the Hatbox Ghost.
What? Why is it so low down on your list?
Well, I'll explain as I go. But yeah, that's why these are my favorites. I mean, this is my personal taste. Hatbox Ghost, number 5. It's a great figure. Introduced in, well, obviously the history of the Hatbox Ghost was originally in the Disneyland Haunted Mansion in 1969 for like the first week or so. It's under debate whether it was even in the actual working ride or not. It was definitely in a lot of the promos and everything, but the figure never really worked how they wanted, with the head illuminating in the hat box and from the character to the hat box. Anyway, the effect never correctly worked. In 2015, though, we now had the technology for them to make a beautiful figure, and it is a great figure now. It's the hat gag works perfectly. The figure moves. It kind of has this eerie glow, and it's a great attraction. It's a great animatronic. It's located in the ride's attic scene. The figure is described as an elderly male ghost in a cloak and top hat, leaning on a cane with a wavering hand and clutching a hat box in the other. So yes, the Hatbox Ghost is my number 5.
All right, fine. I guess we'll give it to you, although I don't know. I think it should be a little lower on your list. So my number 5 is
lower. I thought you were alluding that it should be higher.
Well, higher, lower numbered, higher seating.
Okay.
My number 5 would be a wonderful Kylo Ren, which is weird. You're going to say, huh? What? It's from Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance.
I did see this when I was researching. Yes.
Yeah, so this is my number 5, and the reason why is I think it helps that he's wearing a helmet and a mask, right? But it looks like an actor when you're there. Right. Like, it looks so real.
I've seen footage of it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in person, so that's why it wasn't on my list. If I did see it in person, I'd probably be blown away because the footage looks great.
It is great, more than great. It's wonderful. It's a great ride. It's the best ride right now that has come out in the last few years. Like, it's just mind-boggling how they did it. But anyways, that's my number 5. There's not much more to say about it. It's just because it looks so real.
It's just a beautiful figure.
It's a beautiful figure. Yeah,
you're right. That's what my interpretation of it was. I think I even asked you, are there live actors?
Yeah,
this attraction.
They're not, and it looks like there are.
Right.
They did. But you know what? It's helmets. You know what I mean? They're stormtroopers with helmets, and they look real. It's because you don't see the face, so it looks super real.
Right. So that's kind of a cheat.
Little cheat. All right, you're up.
Okay, number 4. You might think this would be higher on my list too.
Mm-hmm.
This was difficult to place this one, but we got to take into consideration the age of this. And my number 4 is Bruce. From the Jaws attraction, the studio tour, Hollywood Bruce. And, there's obviously been many Jaws attractions. And the beauty of this one is, this animatronic this is the only attraction that uses the mold from the movie. The Jaws ride was a completely different shark. That shark looked pretty good, but didn't look anything like the movie shark.
Yeah.
So anyway, for that reason, this is a beautiful animatronic, in my opinion. It's definitely pretty simple by today's standards, but it still delivers. They've tweaked it so many times over the years, and it has its better. Sometimes it has better moments than others. Like I've seen recent footage of it to where it's barely leaping out of the water and the mouth barely moves. So it seems like when they do a refurb, they tweak it. But it is it's from that attraction started in 1976, so almost as old as the Puente Hills Mall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And very revolutionary for the time. And obviously one of my personal favorites, but limiting this to animatronics, I'm placing that at number 4, Big Bruce.
So that's on my honorable mentions. And the only reason why it's honorable and mentionable to me is because I've been there and it hasn't worked.
Right.
And you're kind of like, sometimes it doesn't even pop up. Sometimes it just goes.
In recent days,
it's
had some rough moments. Yeah, Bruce is I don't know, he's hurting, I think.
Yeah. No, but I like it though.
Then again, like after their last refurb, I think it looks more realistic when it doesn't. The initial version of that, it leaped out of the water much higher, but it didn't look realistic like this. A real shark would actually move in the way that it does now. Closer to.
Have you seen footage of it drained, the lake? And
isn't
that crazy? Shark's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah. Well, they raise it out of the water every night to maintain it and stuff like that. So it raises up out of the water. They don't leave it underwater.
Man, you should be doing that for your job.
Oh, I know.
Cleaning the shark at night.
I get that gig. Brushing his teeth.
All right. So my number 44 is a little ride called Pirates of the Caribbean, and specifically the dog scene with the...
I thought you were going to say Johnny Depp.
You know what, though? I'll be honest. That Johnny Depp at the end is a great figure, where he's sitting there singing Yo-Ho.
I was going to mention it. I kind of didn't like that edition. I just because I like the staying true to the 1960 whatever Pirates of the Caribbean version. And to me, it kind of came off a little cheesy, but it is a beautiful, beautiful animatronic.
Absolutely.
It looks like Mr. Depp.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't put that on here instead of this is because I don't love it. The fact that it's there. But anyway, so the dog with the key and everyone's trying to get it over there. What do you do you know the dog's name? I had to look this up.
What's the dog's name?
The dog's name is none other than
Sparky.
Pooch. Simply put, Pooch.
Well, that's not really a name. Are they that's like basically a word for a dog.
Right. Well, I guess they named the dog Pooch.
Not very creative.
It's not very creative, is it? That was my number 4. By the way, still a classic ride. Most of those animatronics are also very well done. They don't look real, though. Like the people don't look like Johnny Depp. You can tell that one was made now, and the other ones were made, in the 70s.
Which I don't think they're going for real. They're like, their features are like cartoony.
Yes.
They're like, but that's what they were going for.
But Depp looks real, and it's like, it doesn't really
that's the other thing where it's kind of off. I don't know.
Yeah, come on, Depp.
That dog scene is classic. I've seen, there's a lot of other theme parks, lower scale theme parks that I've seen footage of that rip that scene off all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a much copied scene.
Didn't Michael Jackson try to like rebuild it or get the rights to it or something?
Yeah, well, he wanted to make in his theme park or whatever, he wanted like his own version of Pirates. I think he did do some version of it. Obviously not to that scale, but yeah, he loved that ride.
Can you imagine going in your backyard and just like going on some rides?
That is living the dream.
Yeah.
That would be something else.
All right. What is your number, Trace?
So number 3, and again, it's so hard to prioritize these. Number 3, Jurassic World or Park, the ride, the T-Rex.
The T-Rex. Okay. Interesting.
Yes. This animatronic has been in both versions of the ride, and I think it's a beauty. This thing is huge. It's at the climax of the ride, basically a waterfall parts, and this huge T-Rex comes at you literally inches between yourself, the Jurassic boat, before you take the plunge at the end. And again, it's not much else to say. It's an amazing figure. It roars and it comes right at you. And I don't know, with animatronics, to me, size is goes a long way. This thing is huge.
Yeah,
it's very realistic looking, and again, it's like seems like they do refurbishments where they change the skin and stuff like that. And some versions of it have looked better than others.
Of course,
I think the current one looks pretty good though. And I don't know. Universal, when they want to do animatronics, they can do them very well. And this is a beauty. T-Rex.
I think that deserves a little da-da. Yeah, I do like that one.
I wish we had the roar.
That was on my... You could just do it if you want.
Yeah, it's hard.
That was on my honorable mentions as well. I think everything on your list is basically on my mentions that I was like, gosh, should I include it? Should I not?
Yeah, it's tough.
It is tough. And that one, you know what? That one probably should have been on the list because it really is impressive, especially when you see it for the very first time. You're like, whoa.
And I know I sent you a picture of it. It was hard to find a photo of that and my next one. And I don't know if you're going to show those photos, but if you are, what I would say is the photos do them no justice.
Yeah.
Like you have to see these things in person.
My next photo.
That's to be said about all these, but
my next one does no justice to it because it's dark and you're moving when you see it and stuff. But so my number 3, and this is a sad number 3. This is something that you will never personally get to see in your lifetime, Jay. In person. And
there's a lot of that.
I know. There actually is a lot of that from theme parks. You seem to go when it's down or something. Yeah, but so my number 3 is actually the Yeti not from what you're thinking. It's from Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. So they've had lots of problems with this thing. Unfortunately, I got to see it in its heyday when it was moving and stuff. Now it doesn't move.
One.
Yeah, now it doesn't move, and they're replacing it. They're taking it out, and they're going to put some screens in there to replicate
I didn't hear
him.
that.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. Because the last I heard, forget the Imagineer's name. I guess he's retiring now. It's on the tip of my tongue. I forget it. I'm sorry, Imagineer. But last I heard, they were to repair him. So the Yeti is basically. I think it only worked correctly for like the first few months or something.
Yeah, I think it was off and on.
A very small amount of people saw this thing in its actual working.
Yeah,
it's been in what they call B mode, which the fans have called it Disco Yeti, because all these years it's been just static. And what they did is put a strobe light on it,
right?
So it makes it look like it's moving, but it's not. So they. People have named it Disco Yeti because of that. Anyway, the original figure, there is footage of it, was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought about including this, but I never saw it in its working mode. And so you did get confirmation that they're putting in screen.
So I read an article dated in March of this year. I don't know. Disney is known to change things. When people end up saying, outpour, we don't want screens, maybe came in, and maybe they went back to it, but they had announced that they were going to put screens in there, and it reminded me of something that Universal would do.
That's terrible news, man, because that is a beautiful figure.
Yeah. Do you know when you heard about maybe not being screened?
I was thinking it was a couple years ago.
Oh, I think that's... This was this year. There was an article about it.
A few times. I remember seeing footage at some kind of convention, and someone asked. I'm gonna get the name of the guy. He was the Imagineer that he led the construction of Animal Kingdom.
So let me just tell you this while you're looking for that. This was in March 17th of 2023. The site is called Mousetrap News. I don't know what that is. But they had said that they are going to be replacing it with screens in this article, and it's very unfortunate. They kept doing short refurbishments, and nothing was working. Blah blah blah. Kept getting broken, and that's what's going on. The screen will allow the Yeti to look like it's moving again. However, it will only be projection, not an amazing animatronic like it once was. So you haven't been on this ride. This ride is great. This is another way of saying Six Flags Magic Mountain. Why don't you have themed roller coasters? Because you can do all your little flips and dips and all that, right? You can do all that, but you do that in this ride pretty much. But you're also on an expedition to Everest. There's a Yeti. There's so much theming in this ride.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I know. That's I think what Disney does great, and Universal. Sheesh, I can't find the gentleman's name.
Yeah, that's too bad though.
But
yeah,
anyway,
fail.
whatever. I did hear rumors that they were to repair it, but it was supposedly it's very hard because of the way the mountain's constructed, and this thing is like this massive. I guess the reason it was turned off is because it was literally so big that the way it moved, it was like shaking the structure. And
Gosh.
About to it was a potential safety issue type of thing to where like this thing could have compromised like the whole mountain, So, oh, well, okay. Well, we'll move on. That's bad news.
Bad news.
If I can say so myself. I don't think we need any more screens in any of these parks.
No.
But
I almost understand it on this one if like it's honestly ruining the structure though.
Yeah, I mean I get that. Yeah. But it seems like there should be some way to do it. It's 2025, isn't it?
Yeah, they probably have to like build it a little differently and they just don't want to go through that.
Yeah, true.
All right, what you got for number deuce?
I'm not giving up. I'm still going to find that, man.
Drop your deuce.
So number deuce is again back to the Jurassic. Well, this one is Jurassic World. I'm saying the newest figure, very impressive figure, the Indominus Rex.
There it is.
In Jurassic World, the ride at Universal Hollywood. So they've we just spoke about the T-Rex. That was always the finale, but ever since they've revamped it to Jurassic World, the ride, they've added a new figure, which is the Indominus Rex from the Jurassic World movie, which is another full-size, massive animatronic that comes out, and they kind of do a little battle, the T-Rex and the Indominus Rex. But I think this figure, when it's working, unfortunately, last time I was there, it was shut off. Of course. And when this ride first premiered, it was open a very short time before everything closed because of COVID. And they literally just had like a head of this thing. And the full figure was not done. Mm-hmm. And so then they said, we guarantee so why open the ride, right? But anyway, that's how it started. But then Universal put out a release saying that once the park reopens after the COVID stuff, it will be in its full working order. And man, this thing is impressive. Again, I sent you a picture, but that picture doesn't know justice. It was very hard to find a good photo of it anywhere. But this thing is huge. It fully articulating legs and everything. The figure walks out. Again, it's right over you. And that with the combo of the T-Rex, like they're both great. But between those two, I'd say more props to that Indominus Rex.
You do love that ride.
The movements of that thing are they're beautiful. They're so smooth and just that articulation is beautiful. So that's number 2.
Yeah. Would you say, I mean, I guess this could be its own segment, but would you say that's your favorite ride?
At Universal or just ever?
Favorite ride?
It's up there. Yeah. I'd have to really think about that, but yeah.
That's great theming. It is great.
I don't think there's a replacement from the original Jurassic Park. Its original version in 96, I think is when it opened. When the truck came down, we've talked about it before. They like turned a lot of those effects off or just stopped maintaining them, but its original version was a badass ride, and it's still good. I don't like the Jurassic World movies or that ride as much. Obviously, more screens and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's done very well for what it is, but that's a beautiful animatronic. So if you have not seen it, I would suggest to do so.
So the next one on my number 2, I was very torn on which version to put on here, and I probably did something a little maybe controversial in your mind, but I put King Kong from the new Skull Island Reign of Kong, and the reason why I did that is because I looked at pictures that I had taken, or my mom probably took. I still have some of the old Kong. This Kong looks just so much better. It's just so much more detailed.
Yeah, it's a good Kong.
18 feet wide, 3 stories tall. That's what it says. When you see him, it's kind of like, remember in the old tram, especially as a kid, when you turned the corner and you finally saw Kong?
Yeah.
And you were kind of in awe, like, whoa, that is a big little gorilla.
Big little gorilla.
Big little gorilla right there.
Big boy.
I think that this has that awe factor for people that didn't get to see that. They look at that and they're probably like, oh man, that is just crazy how big that gorilla looks.
I can understand that point. I have a different point of view, but I understand that point.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful, in its own way. That's a more modernized animatronic.
More modern, more like war torn. Like I think he's, even got like scars on him, if I remember right. Yeah. And just, I don't know. I really like that ride too, even though there's a lot of screens in it, but it's one of those rides that combines screens and practical effects pretty well. I don't
mind. I think that's a ride. That's a good example of one where they are using the screens, but they marry the two methods very nicely. The practical and the screens.
But
there's both.
But the weird thing is it's in 3D. So you're wearing glasses, and by the time you get to Kong, you still have the glasses on, and you don't need them anymore.
You don't need them, yeah.
And it makes it a little darker. I just wish they had just done screens and not 3D, to be honest.
My one kind of criticism, though, do you notice the set around that final Kong figure? It's like they just put some like trees from Home Depot there.
I know.
Like, it's very simple. Like they could have done more with the surroundings once you do see the final reveal of that Kong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It looked very, like, just very cheaply put together, in my opinion, but very impressive animatronic nonetheless. Yeah. Yes.
I wonder what the theme park world thinks of this version of Kong if they had been on the old version. Because in Florida, they did have their own version as well.
Mm-hmm. True. So yeah, there was that version of it as well. Yeah. So that was what? Your number 2?
This is number 2. So give me your best favorite animatronic.
So we'll basically continue on this same subject and debate. My number 1 is the 1986 King Kong Encounter on the tour. I love that figure.
Yeah.
As we're talking about, there's been different versions of it. That is my favorite version. I think the combination of, you got his arms, he's shaking the bridge, the tram tilts back and forth. That face of the Kong, if you notice, each figure has its own kind of version of the face. Yeah. That is the most classic. Like, that's the face they used in all the old school promo work for the heyday of Universal Studios, my favorite era, the Ride the Movies era. And just like you said, that initial reveal of that figure was amazing at the time. I mean, I remember just being blown away seeing that as a kid. The size of that thing, the banana breath.
Right.
I mean, is there any other figure to where you can smell his breath?
Does the new one have banana breath? I can't remember. No.
Not that I know.
Yeah, I don't remember
I didn't smell any bananas. I mean, just that alone, again, this is my own personal, opinions. So is it the most state of the art or most absolutely realistic, and you think about it in those terms? No, but in my heart, I will always love that one. I think it's even more impressive than Bruce or the Jurassic Park dinos in a way. To me, that whole setup of that ride, how you come through the fog and the police helicopter is shooting at him, the sound of the roar. I don't know. To me, that was a much more intense encounter than the Kong Skull Island thing. He's just kind of
right.
Then he just.
I mean, the tram moved towards Kong. Right?
Yes, he shook when he shook
bridge. It was kind of like,
and it's such a you could look up videos. Bob Gurr designed that, who was a Disney Imagineer. And by the way, I did find the Imagineer that discussed fixing the Yeti, Joe Rohde.
Oh, Joe Rohde. Yeah,
he's Joe Rohde.
Yeah,
he's got that
iconic
crazy earring and stuff.
He's retired, I believe now.
He just retired, so I guess he was the one that someone asked him at a convention, any plans to fix the Yeti? And he says, I am going to do it. I'm planning on doing it. He was like the one that I think cared, but since he's retiring, that's probably looking pretty grim now. Anyway, again, this was a hard thing to narrow down, but in my heart, I love that Kong attraction. And then again, going with the theme of things that I missed that I'll never see in my life. I was at the Florida attraction when it was open. I was at the front door. Yeah. It was closed, which is the reoccurring theme with that park those first few years. I didn't like how those figures looked compared to the one in Hollywood. They have a little bit of a different face. I mean, those were probably more impressive in a way because there was the full body. The Hollywood one was just kind of like waist up. Mm-hmm. But the faces on those, I don't know. They had a different look to them. And not quite as good as that Hollywood one. I don't know. I just love the design. I started to say Bob Gurr. There's some videos out there of the making of it. It was a very simple design, but I don't know. The way it kind of moved and everything, I don't know. It blew me away as a kid, and I missed that attraction so much. I wish that was back. So that's taking the crown. That's why I wore my Kong shirt in honor of the king.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, Psycho does not move, but so we can't call it an animatronic.
They should do a Norman animatronic. That'd be pretty funny.
Oh, that'd be great if he came out every time.
Well, they got the live actor, so
I'd rather have an animatronic.
Yeah, so the animatronic would be funny.
My number 1 is unfortunately your number 5. It is the Hatbox Ghost.
Okay. Yeah.
So many stories of this as a kid that I had read, as a theme park junkie my whole life. I wanted to see it so bad.
It was like a ghost story or like a wives' tale. Like nobody even knew if it was true or not.
Yeah. And, I still don't know if it's true. So you finally get to see it. Now, there is a problem with this Hatbox Ghost, which probably means it shouldn't be number 1. And the problem is, and it's kind of a key to all animatronics, as beautiful as they are, you have to hit it at the right time. If you don't hit it where his face goes into the hat box, because I've been on the ride where like you just see the face in the box and then your dune buggy goes down the hill or whatever.
That's why you gotta the way the dune buggies turn. You gotta glue your eyes on it the whole time. The whole time. And stay looking, and then you'll catch the whole effect. But if you just glance at it, you might miss it. But
if you get it at the right moment, where you turn and you see him, and then his face goes into the hat box. It is one of the best little effects that they've got going on now. It's a great animatronic. It's spooky. Like, I think it's scary looking if I was a kid.
It's got to be the scariest figure in there.
Yeah. I
would say.
Yeah. And it also helps that this is probably my personal favorite ride ever made. So, but that's just, so that does definitely take some precedence in it. But the Hatbox Ghost is number 1 for me. It always will be. I hope it stays around. I've also heard that they've been having problems with this thing, that sometimes the effects just isn't even on and it's just his face and they're not even doing the back and forth. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's just rumors, people talking, whatever.
Every time I've seen it, it's performed great.
It's worked for me, but as long as you see it. Sometimes I've gone through it and you don't really see it yet. Like you said, keep your eye peeled on that little hat box.
Stare at it as long as you can. A little more info on it. The new version's face is an animation that is projected onto the figure, similar to Constance the Bride. The character looks back and forth and narrows his eyes before his head dissolves into mist and vanishes. As the head vanishes, a chuckle can be heard.
Kind of.
The head then reappears inside the hat box before vanishing into the shadows again, but without an accompanying chuckle or any mist. So, and did you hear they're now placing it in the Disney World, Florida mansion as well?
Yes, they are. Yeah. Finally.
Which was like, I was kind of like bummed to hear that in a way, because that was like one of the only things we had on Florida. Like, we got a Hatbox Ghost. You don't.
Yeah. I've always said that I think that having rides at 2 different parks is fine, but they have to be different. They have to be different, or else because we're junkies, right? We want to go to every freaking park. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go on Star Tours that's the exact same in Anaheim.
True. Like, what's the motivation then to travel?
Right. I want different worlds, different whatever it is. It is.
Well, that's interesting. Again, it was very hard to narrow these down. I love that one too, but to me, like, it's just not as impressive because it's smaller and it's quick, small and it's, anyway, but it's still beautiful.
Size isn't everything, Jay. Size isn't everything.
It matters.
It does matter.
It matters. So I just had a few honorable mentions. I don't know if you do.
I think I mentioned mine and they're all in yours.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, a couple others that I do love that didn't make my top 5, but they're great figures is the new Abominable Snowman in the Matterhorn at Disneyland. That's a beauty of a figure.
It is.
Especially compared to, did you know the original ones that they had in there were recycled gorillas from the Jungle Cruise?
The Jungle Cruise is on my honorable mention, by the way, but yeah.
There's some great figures in that too. Anyway, I think they redid the Snowman maybe 5 years ago or something like that. And it really, it really is articulated now. It literally lunges out at you. Yeah. Pretty cool figure that's on the Matterhorn. The Maleficent dragon that just recently burned down in Phantasmic. That thing is impressive.
It is.
I don't like that show, but I would sit through it just to see that figure. Again, I guess you're seeing a theme with mine. Bigger are more impressive to me. That thing is huge. And I just think it's a beautiful figure. I hope they bring that back. I hope they don't put a screen in its place.
Yeah, the picture that I pulled up for that one, yours that you sent me didn't quite work. So this one is Mickey Mouse next to it, and you can really see the size of this dragon.
Yeah, humongous. I don't know how many feet tall it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. I probably have that here. Anyway, I don't know. Phantasmic opened in 92. That's crazy. So yeah, that's a beauty. And then finally, because it feels like we're going long here. I don't know what the time is, I just thought I'd include this as well. This was originally in the 1964 New York World's Fair and eventually ended up in Disneyland, and it's now part of the Disneyland story presenting Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. It's Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a great figure. That thing is impressive.
Have you sat through it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago, but I mean, it's not the greatest show. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But I don't really remember it much. But just like how he stands up, he's sitting down, he stands up. Like, that's pretty impressive for a figure. And it's, again, like we were talking about, it's hard to do an actual face. When it's not a cartoony face like the pirate's face or a shield over the face. Like, this is Abe's face, and it looks pretty good.
It does look really good, actually.
I figured I'd mention old Abe as well.
Yeah, I was there when Trump was there. That was the last time I was there. His figure's really funny because he looks like Trump. Like, he's kind of fat and
right.
It's just a funny looking figure.
Right.
But yeah, I will say the best thing about this is getting out of the heat and getting in some air conditioning, because the show's like 13. I don't know. It feels like it's so long when you're sitting there.
Yeah.
When we were there last time, I looked over. I believe this is the one where the sweetheart fell asleep in. She was.
Oh God.
Yeah, she fell asleep. It's
she
very
wasn't
slow.
Too impressed.
No, I kept saying, "Look at how real they look," and she's like, "Yeah, who cares?"
I wasn't sure if it's still open. It says it's still open, 2009 to present. I need to see that again. It's been years. I know I've seen it before, but I need to make sure to see that.
Next time we go, you can go see that and just meet me over at Space Mountain when you're done, okay? Because it's a little slow for me. I don't know.
All right, that's fine. We can take half a day apart from each other. That might be a good idea.
Half a day. The thing's like 15 minutes long. You want half a day apart.
Because then I want to go get my hair cut at the barber shop. And
you want to go to Disney World. I wonder why we don't have that. Why don't we have a barber shop?
Don't we? Well, we did at one point. Didn't we at one point on Main Street?
I don't know. I know that I have had my hair cut at Disney World in Main Street.
I think there was an operating barbershop at ours at one point. Probably not.
The 3 hairs that I have under this hat, the guy cut one of them. It was great.
Yeah. I hope you tipped well.
I'm very Homerish. Well, that was a great little segment.
I enjoyed it. I hope you did.
One thing about theme parks is animatronics, man. I love them.
That's my favorite thing.
I wish I was smart enough to work on that kind of stuff.
I know, exactly.
But my brain only works in photos.
Unfortunately, it seems like it's kind of a dying thing.
Yeah.
I hope not really. I mean, they have a cult following, but with all the state-of-the-art technology, is like things are also digital and screens and everything like that. And these companies are cheap, let's face it, and animatronics are expensive and hard to maintain and take a lot of work. But there's no substitute for something real. Yeah. Practical. And there's just no substitute.
But that's why Disney and Universal are king. They still keep doing them. Transformers, even though I don't love the ride, it's a good example. They have some stuff in there that's really neat.
Right.
And isn't Secret Life of Pets? I've never been on that one yet, Doesn't that have animatronics in it?
Yeah,
like dogs
that's got a lot.
Yeah,
it's got a lot.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Impressive ones too. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we should get.
Maybe we're animatronic junkies and not theme park junkies, because a lot of the things in the parks just annoy me.
Next
hate
week,
crowds, hate lines.
Next week, worst animatronics.
Expensive. Yeah. There you go. Okay. All right. Well.
We'll see everyone at what is it? Comics and Cocktails, Canoga Park.
Cocktails.
If you see us, say hi.
Have a cocktail. Say hi. I'll autograph any body part you would like. Well, with some limitations.
I will only autograph torso down. Sorry.
Oh boy. All right. So on that note, thanks for listening. If you are listening, and thanks for watching. If you're watching, we are Theme Park Junkies on YouTube. Maybe we will have an actual profile picture of something. Right now, we are a T. So look for that T and like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified every time we launch a new video. Follow us on Instagram, Park Junkies 1. And do we have any other social medias? I guess that's it.
No, we don't. But you know what I was thinking? Amazon sent me something of 2s, and I said, Amazon, you sent me 2, and they said, oh, just keep it. So that's going to be our first giveaway on this channel. It's actually, you know what? I'll reveal it next week. It's actually pop culture-esque, okay?
You're teasing the audience today. All these teases out of you. All right. Well, there's a bribe for you to keep listening. Something free. Probably won't be very impressive, so don't get too excited. But yes. And on that note, this is Jay for Abraham Lincoln, the Expedition Everest Yeti, Mr. Joe Rohde, the Hatbox Ghost, and Ryan. And we are saying out.